Welcome back to another episode of What About Dat? My name's Adair, and with the help of my friend Jen, we'll be going over Supergirl Season 2, Episode 15, Exodus. So sit back, relax, and ask yourself, what about that? Okay, let's get into the synopsis. Once again, it's Episode 215, Exodus. Snapper Carr interviews Supergirl. As Alex, played by Kyler Lee, searches for Jeremiah, guest star Dean Cain, Carr, played by Melissa Benoist, investigates a series of alien kidnappings. The sisters soon realize they must break the rules to foil the new Katniss plot. In an effort to get Snapper Carr, guest star Ian Gomez, to run a story that can help her stop Katniss, Carr agrees to set up an interview between Snapper and Supergirl.
All right, so I'm so stoked about this episode. Jen, what about it? What was your thoughts?
This was the Alex-centric episode we were waiting for.
And we needed.
We needed it, absolutely. I want to start with we got something I was not anticipating, 2 characters we did not know, 2 parents having an awesome time on some vacay.
Can I just tell you, that was probably one of my favorite things to see. Just, okay, let's just start off by Bruno Mars, yes.
Yes.
Just yes.
And one of the things I have to say with editing in this scene was the song was going and there was a perfect edit where the music does this dip and the little girl in the back seat who's like totally embarrassed by her parents, she's like does this eye roll. And it was like perfectly in time with the music, and I thought like, this is awesome. Is this Supergirl? I don't know what I'm watching right now. I was confused, but I liked it. I liked being confused.
It was so good. Can we just give a quick shout out to Blake Neely, the sound designer, music editor, I do believe, of the show. Guy's been doing it the whole, both seasons.
Absolutely, great work.
Come on, dude.
Every episode we've commented on the music choices.
Always mention the music because it's so
I think he gets one like artist per an episode too. I've noticed that he's had
or like a good cover,
like a good cover per an episode. So I want to talk about the casting choices right off the bat. So starting off this episode, we have this family. They're on a vacation. The parents are nerding out to the Bruno Mars jam, and then they get pulled over by some freaking ICE police agents. And I want to say how ironic this is and how in time the writers are with this specific theme. So what we have is ICE police agents of color. I want to make that point. This man was of color, pulling over a seemingly Caucasian alien family and basically violently pulling him out of the car and throwing him into the back of a van.
Well, they didn't get pulled out until later, because he shows up as just a regular city police, because he's not, you don't see it as ICE. And he just goes, "Oh, you have a taillight out." And
I thought that was fabulous.
Yeah, and
because he kept using the same thing over and over again. You have a taillight.
You know, if you have a story, stick to it.
Come look at this thing right here. Bam! Let me fuck your shit up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I thought the political context of this episode, where you have a deportation squad that picks up aliens and puts them into a giant van/ship and deports them out into the space, over the border, whichever direction.
That's good.
I thought that was very, very, very in contact with what's happening right now, and I really feel like this is one of the only shows that's really covering this heavy. I love the way the writers switched tables. You had the person of color arresting the Caucasian family, and the Caucasian family, oh my god, they were the immigrants.
Yeah.
And so often in this country, the person you think is the immigrant isn't always the alien. And I thought that was really great. And that brings us right into the second scene. And we see, after this horrific, violent, emotionally sad deportation of this family, you know, we get into the meat and potatoes, which is the whole gang at the DEO freaking out because the alien registry has been stolen in the last episode by Jeremiah, and we're seeing the repercussions of that. So I just want to say kudos to the writers for writing very accurately to what is happening. Yeah. The tone.
I absolutely loved the idea of the family and them rocking out, and I love the fact that they were seemingly normal, and that's kind of one of the things that you can drive home, is that a lot of the, aliens out here in America and stuff like that, they're just good people trying to live their lives, go on vacation, have a family, live the American dream, and then especially recently, people have been being pulled out of their houses.
Rounded up.
And and
Yeah.
it's a bummer. Anyways, so
Sad.
what do you think about
We have Win.
Win?
And he's been monitoring everything. Cell phone chatter, traffic cams, satellite feeds. I was like, boy, when do you have the time to date your woman? Because
Clearly, he's pimp enough, he makes it happen.
right. And
I love them. I love Lyra and Win. I think they're adorable. I love, hey, can we just take a moment? Welcome back, Jimmy. Been a while. Nice to see you. I really like that we got to see him hanging out with Win and Lyra. And, Lyra's cool with Win's boys because, like, even when she met Monel, she's like, yeah, hi, Win's friend. And, like, she's with Jimmy and it's just very casual. Yeah. He was just, like, all well rested.
But like immediately after this family deportation scene, we have the scene with everybody in it, and they're at the DEO, and they're trying to figure out Jeremiah, he stole the alien registry, and Kara is automatically sent down this path. She's really worried about Cadmus picking up aliens, and she wants to warn them immediately. And so the first thing she thinks of is Keko, as using that as a means to get the message out to the alien community that you guys are in trouble, people are coming after you.
Which is
you
smart.
need to know.
Yeah.
And so if you really want to start this episode, you start it with it's an Alex-centric episode, but it starts very much so with Kara and her how, and she needs to get this message out. So she uses Keko, and she knows she needs to go and sell this idea of writing a story about an alien registry to.
Yeah. What about Alex? Obviously we're going to keep saying it. This is an Alex episode, which is great. And like we said, we needed it. We wanted it. I really, really enjoyed I just enjoyed all of it. There was just so much to kind of cover, and I'm going to try to do it as gracefully and quickly as possible, but I loved just the whole buildup of the anger that she has, and the excitement, and the desperation, and just all of it. Kudos to Kyler once again. Great episode for her. I loved Snapper, and actually, let me phrase that. I liked the Snapper stuff. I get a little frustrated because I'm that person that will get that tough love, and I don't like hearing it, but I know he's right on certain points, Yeah. I wish that it wasn't so kind of not businessy or corporate, because it's like, as a human, I'm sure Snapper would want the message out, and if he could, he would just put it out. But as a reporter, he has to kind of be an asshole about it.
He needs two sources, yes.
Yeah, and that sucks. I really do appreciate, though, that he drives false news, fake media. They're saying you need sources. You can't just go off of your opinion or your feelings, because those aren't sources. Those aren't facts. Those are opinions. And I like the fact that he's like, okay, give me facts. Give me more than one place that has this, and then we can talk about it.
Well, so you have the two Danvers sisters, you have this alien registration out, and you have this horrific image of a family being deported, and it sends them down two different paths. Kara's path is to go to Snapper and try to get this story out. Alex's path really starts in the bar with Maggie, and her path is to kind of go inward because of the last episode. She had a hard episode with Jeremiah, and she knows there's this alien registration. She knows about the deportation list, but really the first time we see Alex is in the bar playing pool with Maggie. And so rather than be proactive, she's kind of licking her wounds, and she's kind of in this sad, dark place, and it's a place that Maggie tenderly touches, So, I thought these were two really great juxtapositions of each sister and how they deal with conflict.
Yeah, and I think that I had said it earlier, that with Kara and Alex, they're going to deal with a lot of conflict given the adopted family that they're ultimately blended into. I said earlier that Alex might have a little bit of issues with Jeremiah and Kara, because at the end of the day, Alex is their only child, birth child. Kara is their adopted child. And sometimes I feel like the writers are pointing that Alex still has an issue with that. And this was still very evident in this episode. You know, last episode she goes, are you, you with the family or you're not? She goes, he's my dad. She goes, he's mine too. We'll act like it. You know, this episode we have the feeling like, oh, she's betrayed because you're going to stick up for Papa John as opposed to our father.
Well, I feel like
that kind of thing.
You really get that also in this first scene with the Alex playing pool, and she loses her focus because she's worrying about her father, and she is mentally trying to come up with excuses as to why he betrayed her. He's mind controlled. Someone was threatening him. And as a result, Maggie wins the pool match. And Maggie gets a plethora of Maggie things, and I love it. She's like, it's like the 12 days of Christmas. Alex owes her dinner, a bottle of scotch, a flash grenade. It's kind of wonderful. I love the fact that they're sharing
flash grenades. Yes, that's great. I love the fact that that's a thing. Like, hey, babe, if I win, I get that nuclear bomb you're having. You're like,
and because Alex is sad, she wins.
Yeah, and then she was like, comes to her sentence. Wait a minute, no, you're not getting a grenade.
No, I love that. I love that. Alex is like, wait.
I love the cute moments like that. Can we talk about the explosion in the bar? That was awesome. Right. What about all those effects? I love the shadowing. I love the fact that we have 3 badass bitches just kicking ass. We have Alex, we have Maggie, we have Lyra. Just sitting there whooping everybody's ass. And once again, hi Jimmy, welcome to the party. Welcome. We were kind of joking because
I think I'm going to be calling Cadmus like ICE agents the whole episode.
Oh my gosh.
Podcast. Because they are literally ICE agents just deporting the fuck out of aliens.
But what I was saying is like, I really loved Jimmy and all them fighting, but it was like, all the girls are kicking ass, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Maggie scoots out to change his clothing, his costume change. And even Wynn tries to help a little bit. And I'm like, where the fuck did Jimmy go? Well, all the girls are getting their ass kicked and just kicking ass and doing all this other stuff. I thought it was funny. I loved Alex is so upset that she's not even fighting in that moment to really fight and protect anybody. Mm-hmm. She's fighting because she's pissed. She's fighting that her father caused this. And so when you hear her go, when she sees Lyra get captured, and Rin's like, where'd she go? And she's like, I got this.
No, she does. I love it.
It wasn't even a matter of I'm saving her because, I want to save. She's just pissed off. Everything's just going to just trigger her.
This fight is almost therapeutic for her.
Oh, yeah. 100%. She needed to beat the shit out of stuff. At the end of the day, that's what you need sometimes.
I wrote Maggie has her fisticuffs. Alex instantly reverts to the pool stick as a weapon, and Lyra just starts kicking shit.
Just manhandling people.
It was great. And I love it. I'll get her. That's what she says. That's the quote.
I'll get her. I love the fact that I kind of wish there was a little bit more fear that Alex could have gotten hurt.
Yeah. But can we talk about that scene though for a second? Alex runs out, right? She's pointing the gun, right? And then she gets a gun pointed into her back. I love that.
Yeah, I mean
transaction.
That's what I'm saying. I love that. I thought it was cool, and I wish there was a little bit more intensity between Maggie and Alex, because I want to see Maggie almost go ape shit because somebody's putting her girlfriend at risk.
I think that's coming.
I know it's coming. Let's be honest, it's coming. But I really wanted to see a little bit more of it because you saw her being worried, but I almost wanted her to be a little pissed, And then Guardian, because he got his costume on in time.
Mascara lifted up.
Yeah, you gotta curl those locks, honey.
Curl those lashes.
And he helped her out, which I thought was kind of good. Okay,
wait. This is another thing about this. I feel like when Maggie had the gun aimed at the guy who was holding Alex hostage, and then Guardian rolls in and he stops it, and that's great. But I feel like Maggie, being who she was, I completely, as an audience member, trusted that Maggie could make that shot and she could shoot that guy in the head.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Guardian was fucking. What he did was great. I acknowledge it. but I also thought Maggie had control of the situation.
Well, yeah. What I was actually waiting for, which I would have loved to have seen, I thought it was a missed opportunity to bring Guardian and Alex a little bit more together. You know, once again, Alex knows who the Guardian is. Has she told Maggie yet? Who knows?
I don't know. That's a good...
Yeah.
Does Maggie know who the Guardian is?
Yeah.
I feel like Maggie would piece that together.
You would think.
She's really smart. She figured out the Supergirl question.
I mean, let's be honest
when
with
nobody
ourselves.
did.
But then again, Jimmy's been gone so long, she might have forgotten he exists as well.
I forgot.
Womp womp, Jimmy. So, I thought that was really cool that, I'm sorry, I thought that they should have had an opportunity to make Alex and Guardian kind of team up for a little bit. She could have used his vigilantiness to help her in this whole episode of the Katniss and everything like that, because she had to work outside the DEO for a bit. And without getting Maggie in trouble from her job, I think a good choice avenue would have been to use Guardian.
I think not using Guardian was a mistake. I agree 100% with you. And you know what happens afterwards? We never talked. The next scene where Alex is kicking the ICE officer's ass. I thought that was brilliant. Seeing Alex go back to the DEO after she's captured this guy, and she opens up his prison cell. He's sitting there, and she just beats the hell out of him.
It was great to watch.
It was great to watch. And she has this line. She's like, "Where's Cadmus? Tell me where he is." I kind of had like a flash to like where Lena in a couple episodes in Luther's was like, "Don't hurt her." It was like the same kind of lady scream desperation, and I really liked that.
Gotcha.
And I really loved seeing Alex kick the shit out of this man. She like beats him down, and then she steps on his balls, which was like, wow. And they cut away at that moment, but she stepped on his balls. And I felt like this scene where she's beating him down, like the makeup department kind of like let me down, because he only bled a little bit, whereas I feel like Alex gave him a beatdown, a thorough beatdown, and I felt like you could have even gone slightly longer with the beatdown, taken it further to the edge, because I felt like John interrupted this scene a little too early, a hair too early. That KO pound to the head where you're like, oh, he's got a concussion. I felt like that didn't come. But I wanted to see that, and I mentally thought that's what happened. But I shouldn't have to finish that question mark, especially with this show where it's an action show. Yeah. So I really wanted like a couple more punches, but I loved seeing Alex go ham.
Yeah, it was
loved that.
I want to know, what are your thoughts? What did you think about Jean, seeing as we mentioned him, and his kind of role in this episode? I thought that there were a lot of themes going along. There was a lot in this episode, guys, to really digest and take apart. I mean, there's so many things that we're going to skip as far as like, Alex and her anger and things towards the relationship towards John, all this stuff. But like right now, I want to know what you think about John's presence in this episode. I thought it was very important and very minute.
I felt like we talked. John was slightly, if not overly, manipulative of Alex's emotions. You have one opinion of it, I have another, but basically, I think that Jean, later on, after this fight scene happened, after Alex beat the crap out of this Cadmus crony, Jean goes to Alex's house. She's pouring a glass of orange juice. She turns the fuck around and she sees Jeremiah, and she's like thrown emotionally by this. And Jeremiah tells her she has to pick a side. It's either help him with Cadmus, because Cadmus is truly the threat, and go against the DEO, or don't. And then at the end of the scene, it turns out that it was Jean all along, trying to see and test where
Jean has a bit of a habit of coming into people's houses unwanted. Remember that time he was like, "Hey, Magan, how goes it?" And she's like, "Who the fuck? Like, get out of my house." Right. He just phased through her door.
And what my problem as a viewer was, in the last episode, we referenced the human resources department at the DO, and Jean basically is her boss. He goes into her house. He invades her house. He sneaks up behind her. He emotionally manipulates her, pretends to be her father, says all the shit she wants to hear from her father, and then he's like, "Gotcha."
Yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
I think that...
You are off the case.
I think
and
that...
I was like, John, that's over hours, girl.
I think that with that scene, it's important because we know that John is coming from... Jean is coming from a specific place of concern about the DEO, but I'm 100% in agreement that the way he did it was wrong. The way he came into the house and that he could have talked to her, asked her boss at the DEO, and be like, I'm taking off this case. You're too close to it. You know, whatever. He did the same thing Jeremiah did in this episode, which was, I'm here to protect you and help you. But it was more selfish, and I don't mean it negatively selfish. You know, Jean had 2 daughters who were killed. Jeremiah left when he was young to protect them and everything like that. So they're coming from this father, you know, protect their children place, but still not realizing that those are grown women and that they are taking their own emotions way too far. Yeah, John was incorrect and wrong in that position. But I personally thought that him taking her off the case was right. I just don't think the way he did it was right. But the writers were very smart in having that happen so that there's also a little bit of an underlying crack with Kara and Alex. So when Kara kind of takes Jean's side, Alex feels a little betrayed by that.
It is kind of a slight betrayal. Like, Jean takes Alex off the case based on his vetting methods. And then, you know, Alex wants Kara to vouch for her. And then Alex is surprised when Kara doesn't. And I agree with you. It's 100% a minute betrayal. And I think will become a bigger betrayal.
Well, the thing is, they've been leading up to the Danvers betrayal of each other and the sadness because, once again, like I said, the whole adopted thing and, you know, Jeremiah's my real father. You're my adopted sister. I want you to treat our father like our father. But Jen had mentioned earlier, and I actually didn't notice it. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Kara really doesn't call Jeremiah father or dad. She calls him Jeremiah. Because, she knows that's her adopted dad. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Alex is always trying to get Kara to be more...
on board with it.
On board with, this is our dad. And that, I think, is going to be a point of contention later. Now, what did you think about Maggie in this?
Well, I want to bring up this little side note that I wrote about this.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to you about this before, and I think this is really, really where it fits in. Jean, the way he manipulates Alex for the truth, it's kind of a theme within the show. We have a lot of parent figures who manipulate their children to their benefit.
Yeah.
We have Lillian manipulating Lena. We have Jeremiah manipulating Alex last week. And now we have Jean in this episode manipulating Alex in the same way she was manipulated by Jeremiah in the previous week. So it's like this whole idea of parental emotional abuse, this cycle of abuse, and the question if the children will continue to do it or if, you know, they'll find a way to stop. And it seems like they're setting Manal up with a similar storyline with his parents coming into play in the future episodes where they will also be manipulating him. So it's like this show really, really uses the parent as a villain character. The only villain character I cannot think of who is a parent is Eliza, but I don't even know her full backstory. She could still...
Eliza?
Oh,
the mom. Yeah.
She's the only parent who hasn't betrayed her child.
Well, she did and didn't. With Alex's storyline and Eliza before she came out, they had a very strained relationship because Eliza always put a lot of pressure on Alex to take care of Kara, but never really take care of herself. And so that was a point of contention for a while. And then so a lot of the parents do play like this underlying kind of...
It's abusive parents, cycle of abuse continued in the children. And that's a real huge theme.
Well, and as Alex says, I think it's kind of in this episode's overall theme of stop doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. And I think that's what a lot of these parents are doing.
Wrong thing for the right reasons.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of wrong things, but for the right reasons. Even Lillian. Lillian wants to protect her son, protect her daughter, protect their name by getting rid of all these aliens as opposed to doing it in a positive way. At the end of the day, she kind of does have a
Well, I hate to say it, but like I've been listening to Lillian Luther for a while, just doing some analyzing, and I feel like I understand where she's coming from.
Oh, 100%.
Her jargon, like when I'm thinking of these, she's like, aliens with godlike powers came to our planet, and they deputized themselves. They made themselves into the sheriff of our planet without knowing the culture of our planet or the history. They are now the lawmakers of our world. I totally get why people would be upset with that. Yeah. I see the political atmosphere of our current situation in this country right now, and I could totally see people jumping on to the Lillian train and following it. So you're right. You're 100% right. These parents are really using their children as like a harbinger for what they want, you know? And
okay, so, but what did you think about Maggie?
Oh, Maggie was fabulous. Anytime Maggie is using a DEO weapon, I'm a happy woman.
On board. Like, 100% on board.
She just has a natural, like, tendency towards the stun gun, flash grenade. Give all of that shit to Maggie.
I wish that Alex would have taken her along on her adventure. On her soiree. But I love the fact that she had her back.
That she was in 2 fight
scenes. #ride or die. I was like, yay, lesbians.
Maggie, I love that I'm learning so much about her. 12 Days of Christmas for Maggie is a flash grenade, gun, and a bottle of scotch. I love it.
Find me
I love her use of weapons. And I love her agreeing to follow Alex even when Alex is wrong.
Well, yeah, and for me, when I saw that because Maggie had such a crappy time with her father, I feel like she wants Alex to have what she didn't have. And so by going after her father, by saving her father, Maggie is kind of reliving or getting to have the relationship that she didn't have with her father, in a way. Kind of living vicariously through Alex and having the happy ending happen for Alex that maybe, Maggie didn't get right away and stuff like that, which I think is very sweet. Speaking of girlfriends, what do you think of Supergirl?
I'll talk about that in a second, but I really want to stay on Samverse. So after Maggie agrees to go rogue with Alex, we have this amazing scene, and I cannot get through this podcast without talking about Samverse, where they go rogue and they go to save aliens. And there's this guy who looks like he's an alien version of Better Call Saul. He's on the phone, and
Brian is his name. Brian.
No, the ICE agents, they roll up, and they're like, hey, I got this tape. Hey, there's a quarter on the floor. Why don't you come look at that? They're fucking arrest the shit out of him. And then Alex shows up with Maggie, who's supportive of her girlfriend, and they have this kick-ass fight scene, which is fabulous, right? Second fight scene
that's cool.
of the episode. And then afterwards, Alex runs into the car. She uses her technology. She wins it. She quotation marks.
Oh, anytime somebody does something that's overachieving or like way too convenient, we're going to call it winning it.
Yeah.
Or like, Alex for the win, quote unquote.
She uses her win card to download all the GPS coordinates of Cadmus in the last 48 hours.
On that van.
All of them. On the van. She just plugs her USB in. And now she gets it all in 2 seconds. And then she and Maggie have a smooch. I call it a smooch because it was quite the smooch. It was like quite literally a really good on-screen kiss.
When I first saw it, I was like, they are purposely making sure we got a Samverse kiss. Like, you can tell when it's completely blatant, and when sometimes they throw it in like, ugh, let's give them a kiss. They're like, they've been bitching that we haven't given them a long enough kiss. Here it is,
and it's
ladies
a good
and gentlemen.
kiss. It's like, baby, I kicked his ass. I kicked your ass there too. And like,
Brian was all of us at that moment.
Brian was the audience.
He was, because he's like, I wish I had that. And everybody's like, me too.
And the audience wants to watch every Samverse kiss. And we're like,
true.
Me too. And they're like, get away from
Fun fact, and not really fun fact, I just wanted to point this out. How exactly is Katniss finding all these random aliens? Homeboy is in an alleyway on his phone, chilling by himself, trying to book something, being a bookie. How you gonna find somebody like that?
But can I just say, I think this kiss was good. It was like Orange is the New Black level good when Alex and Piper kiss, or I don't know.
Oh no,
it was
super
good.
cute.
It was super cute,
was
and
good.
I was so happy. And she's like, "Baby, I got you," and she's like, "I got you," and they like smooched. It was adorable. Right after that scene, I'm gonna spend the rest of the 45 minutes talking about Supercorp now. The next fucking scene is a Supercorp scene. We get a Sanverse kiss into a Supercorp.
You gotta go back-to-back relationships.
Holy
That's how
fuck
we work.
my life. I am a happy woman because of this day. And basically what happens is we cut in and Kara, she's busy with work, whatevs. And she rolls into her office and Lena freaking Luthor is waiting for her. And can we just say wardrobe department?
Yes, their wardrobe department really is just on point. I mean, I love the colors that they gave Lena with her maroon jacket, scarlet, yeah, if you will,
Girl.
and the black, and it was cut so well, and anything looks good on that woman. And then Kara's tweed with the black.
Her reporter tweed.
Yes, please.
It was very.
I want that jacket so badly. Super cute. If anybody knows, because I know there's a girl who looks for all of the clothes on Supergirl, and she posts them to where they buy the clothes at, so that you can get it yourself. If anybody knows who that website is, please let me know.
Okay, so we got Alina. She enters the fucking episode at 23 minutes and 24 seconds. I timed it. I was like, click, we got Lena. And the first thing she says is, Kara's there, and she's like, Alina's like, I thought, you're surprised to see me. We were going to try that fermented place out, and I just loved hearing that Kara and Lena had lunch plans. I was like, tell me more of these lunch plans. And then Kara freaks out because she pretty much divulges all of this. She divulges all the information about the alien registry and how she's been so busy and she's forgotten their lunch plans to Lena. And Lena is fucking surprised as hell. And she has this wonderful line where she's like, that's okay, fine. Kombucha can wait. And I was like, kombucha can wait. And basically, we have, Lena, and her voice really, really drops. I love the actress for doing this. Her voice drops. As soon as she hears something terrible happening, she's like, great, what did Mother do now? And then Kara tells Lena about Cadmus, the alien registry, and Lena makes a suggestion right there. She tells Kara, hey, second career and piece of advice, you should, instead of trying to get that article posted at Catco, you should, go rogue, create your own blog. Cut scene. Kara does exactly what Lena says. And it's lovely.
I thought that was great. They had, once again, I laughed because
they had
I thought that it was really cool that they just connect so well, those two actresses. And I thought I could hear Katie going, don't bite my lip, don't bite my lip, don't bite my lip. But what was great is that Melissa ends up kind of biting her lip and flirting. And I was like, oh, well, come on now. Someone had to do it.
It did feel like the writers were like, Katie McGrath, pull it back. We need you to be a friend because Carmel's a ship. And then Katie McGrath is like, okay, I'm not going to use my lip, but I'll use my eyes.
Exactly.
And they're lovely. And I'll use my awesome posture.
And honestly, I like the fact, going through the reporting part of it and her doing her own journalism, I actually kind of like that. And so when it came to Snapper Carr and the interview, which, side note, I know in the synopsis they made a big deal about it and things like that, and then it wasn't, which cracks me up because that's just what they do. I liked the fact that they attempted to have her, interview, and it showcased how inexperienced Kara is as a reporter and how kind of biased she is in a way. I know best. I know the source, she's not doing the work as a reporter, which I think is a very, very valuable lesson that she's learned and that she's going to have to learn, and that the journey now that she's out of Catco is going to be very important for her as a journalist.
Well, I felt like I wanted to give kudos to Lena and Kara, for establishing a friendship, because Kara needed friends like she needed, plants need water. She had none, and it was great hearing it. And then we got a second Supercorp scene where we find out some additional information that Lex ran the company, and while he was running the company, Lillian was on the board of AlCorp, and Lena's like, what are friends for? And I was like, thank you for this information. And then Lena gets right to business. You know, she starts to investigate AlCorp and Lillian's involvement because she doesn't want any more of Lillian's malarkey interfering with her lunches with Kara.
Yeah. Now, what'd you think about her shady ass secretary?
Well, I'm getting there. So she discovers she's working late, and she has a shady ass secretary named Alanis. Fucking shady name. And basically, there's a discovery that there was Alcor, you know, and right here, I was like, what the fuck? I've been keeping track of Alcor. I'm like, what is Alcorp? What does it do? It does a lot of things. Alcorp produces alien detectors. It creates nuclear reactors. And it also produces metal. It has so many purposes. It's a multifaceted company. It does a lot of stuff. And so, you know, it's mentioned that in 1997, they were making metal, and they had a metal plant, and that got shut down. And Alanis, the secretary, was like, I was in the 8th grade. And in 97, if she was in the 8th grade, that would make her about 30. And we learned of a timeline discrepancy right here, because then Lena says, well, it's been closed for 10 years. And so if the metal company that was owned by AlCorp was closed for 10 years, starting in 1997, then that would put the timeline of Supergirl in 2007. Meaning that this timeline really, right here, is a writer error, because it really does not sync with everything we know about Lena and
Kara coming to Earth and the whole timeline.
There was that right there was a total writing, like.
I love the fact that
we double checked this. We checked two sources.
Besides exactly. Besides the fact that she has a shady ass secretary, I love the fact that Lillian is just like henchwomaning, like she has hench people everywhere in this company. Also, AlCorp. She's like, take my daughter out, but keep her face pretty. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Lillian orders a hit on her daughter, Lena. She literally, in this episode, we talk about parental abuse.
Just ruthless.
Talk about it. She ruthlessly is like, distract my daughter, but don't make it permanent. Keep her face pretty. Right? I love it. It was fabulous. And within 5 minutes, Lena's being attacked by
We got one of the best images that we've all been waiting for. All of us.
It was
equally
hilarious.
Have been waiting for.
And I wrote this as I'm watching the scene. You know, Lena is being attacked, and she brings the wrong purse to work. She brings the black purse to match the black dress, and that one only has the taser in it, not the tan purse with the gun. So she totally brings the wrong purse to work, but she happens to be on the phone with Kara, and I wrote this down. There's a scene where Kara, she's having this emotional, like, problem where she doesn't know if she should blog her piece on the alien registry or not. And Manal shows up, and he, like, as supporting boyfriend, tries to support her and tells her to just do it. Yeah. And then he walks off to the refrigerator to get some food, and Kara, she's like, oh my god, what'd I do? And she does it. And she then calls Lena, and as she's calling Lena, Lena's being fucking attacked by her mother's henchmen who have been sent to her office. And basically what happens is, I wrote this, the moment when your boyfriend is in your house and your girlfriend calls. And then you have the Cadmus cronies. You could talk about this, because this gave me joy.
Well, the Cadmus cronies, okay, so Car, like, totally ditches her boyfriend. Is like, you know, he goes and makes a sandwich, turn around, she's gone.
He does make a sandwich.
Which is fine. But I love the cronies, and, you know, shout out to the two extras, or featured extras, if you will, the hinge people, who push Lena over the edge, and, like, one guy's like, fuck, I'm so screwed. Right. I had one job, and it was to not kill somebody.
It was to not kill Lena Luthor.
Well, Lena Luthor. And then the one guy kind of looks at the other guy like, you're so fucked. Like, and he covers his mouth.
You killed Lena Luthor.
Guys, I'm putting it right. It was at this moment that he knew he was fucked.
That was some funny shit. And then it's like, Katie McGrath, as an actress, without moving, just her eyes and maybe biting her lip is fabulous. Asking her to do additional movement, like, struggle or maybe run, add this to the moment too. Run or struggle and fall over an edge. Don't ask her to do it. She looks fucking hilarious.
Kate McGrath as Lena is kind of like the Adele of Supergirl. She's great emotionally. Don't ask her to walk or move or dance.
We get too much.
It's too much. We don't need all that. We just need face. We need presence, but we don't necessarily need action.
We don't need the struggle or the action. Yeah. We don't need to see how the sausage is baked.
Okay, so speaking of Corp, how did you feel about Lillian and Jeremiah and their whole side of the factory?
I feel like they should fuck. Just saying.
Okay, well, there's that. And side note, I'm still tired of... I'm still tired of Jeremiah. I mean, not Jeremiah. I'm sorry. Superman's mask. It's like the worst Phantom of the Opera cosplay ever.
I was thinking the same shit.
Drives me crazy.
Hank Henshaw.
But I freaking love Cyberman versus Superman dad person. Like, I wish the fight could have been a little longer, but Mazel Tov. Ken, real quick, skirting back to Alex because of Corp and being in the carrier. I fucking love that Alex gave 0 fucks. Lillian's like, you gonna drop that bomb? She's like, fuck yeah, boom. You ain't gonna do it. Watch me, bitch. Boom. Hold my beer. Like, it was so good. And I was just like,
yeah. The scene between Lillian and Alex is beautiful. It's just like, the challenge was there. Lillian threw the gauntlet. Alex
was like, here, bitch. Here's your
the
gauntlet.
bombs. I got it in my hand. I dropped it. So many times in television, we see the person not drop the bomb. It was refreshing.
Where she was like, I'll blow us all the fuck up. I don't give no fucks.
She blew up like 3 bombs just to show she wasn't fucking around. Then Lillian was like, you gotta drop the whole stick.
And
then she's like,
done.
Stick drop, bitch. And everything blew up. Everything blew up, and Alex ran into the frigate ship, and we got the scene.
I actually screamed my face off. Because as soon as she got in the ship, I was like, Alex in space, Alex in space. Oh my God, Alex could be in space. I don't know why, but I really want to see Alex Danvers in space.
But can we say that this scene was I wrote so many notes on this scene. This scene was the scene of the episode. This is the scene where Alex runs into space. She saves the day. Bombs are going off. Jail cells are being opened. Aliens are being
Lyra
freed.
For the win on opening or helping
I
her
love
get
Lyra.
out.
Okay.
That was so
I
great.
love Supergirl. I love Alex. I love Maggie. I love Lena.
Just all the ladies
Myra.
being badass.
They're great.
Mazel tov.
They're saving shit. But then we get the dramatic music. We get Alex in the window. And, Kara has put Lena down, assumingly. We didn't even talk about the lift. Oh my God.
It was amazing.
All right. We'll talk about that later. Kara's put Lena down after she's fallen off the building, and she zoomed over, and they need someone to slow the ship down. And Kara's like, I got this. She flies into space, though we don't know if she can breathe in space or not, and she just fucking throws herself into the task.
Well, they're not in space yet. They're in the sky, but they're not in space. And no, Supergirl cannot breathe in space. Yeah. And
she's in the window, and Alex is on the other side. It's this like Titanic moment where Alex puts her hand into the glass, and Kara's like at her wit's end, and Alex can see that, and she tells Kara, you can do it. Come on.
I thought this was one of the best cinematic shots they've done. Panning on the screen, the solar flares, the camera angles. It was just, once again, Blake Neely, dude, the music was amazing. I can't put my finger on it because the music's familiar. It's an ode to something, or it's a callback to another musical piece.
Yes.
If you know it, put it down, because for those people who really are keen on it, I know it's something, I just can't put my finger on it. But it was so good because it's just silent, and
wordless
actions, and it was just powerful. And once again, we got what we've missed for so long, which was just the Danvers sisters connection again. We've missed it.
Stuff in the previous week drove them apart.
And honestly,
when it comes down to it and the stakes are raised, they came together.
And this was,
and you know what's beautiful? There was a moment where Kara is like, Alex is like, you can do this. I believe in you. And Kara just opens her mouth, but you don't hear the scream. It's a silent shout. And she's just fucking pushing her hardest.
I mean, it felt really painful watching it because, like, if you think about lifting something really heavy, human bodies, I don't know if you guys know this or not, like when mothers have their kids trapped and they have to lift a car, they can't lift the car. And some people don't realize that when somebody does that, sometimes their muscles actually rip inside their body, which
I
can
felt like that
which can paralyze people and things like that. Folks don't know that when they get that adrenaline, your muscles can do it, but your muscles can also rip off the bone and cause internal damage. Sometimes when Kara's doing those things, that's what it feels like. That she's giving literally her entire fiber to save people.
And then right after she silent screams, silent shouts, it cuts right back to Alex's face. And the music just gets crescendos.
And Kyler and Melissa have... And the thing is, okay, guys, the one thing about the Danvers sisters connection, it has nothing to do with the writing, which is kind of a thing about this show. It's just Kyler and Melissa's relationship. If you watch any interview or anything with those two actresses, they love each other to death. They would ride or die to the end of the earth as humans for each other, and it plays off. I mean, they flat out say, they're like, yeah, we are like soulmate sisters from another mister. That's just how we're always going to be. And when they do scenes like that, it's probably the easiest acting they've ever done in their life because they're not. It's a matter of Kyler cheering on Melissa and Melissa looking for that palpableness and that tender care as an actor that you need from your scene partner. It's such a give and take, and as an actor and as someone who really has been in those moments, it is such a gift to see and to feel. We were everybody. You can tell everybody was on the edge of their seat. We know Supergirl ain't going nowhere, but if this was the last episode of the season, this would have been probably one of the best finale cliffhangers because it was that moment where we were like, I think Alex actually might get launched into space. And if that's the case...
I think that was a pacing thing because...
It was so good.
After we got that shot of Alex's face, we got another shot of Kara screaming again, and it got louder. Yeah. And then it went from louder to being very soft. And I think they cut right here. Can I just say, I think they cut something out. Because it comes back to her just out after she slowed the spaceship down. It came back to Kara's face, and she like blinks once, and then she blinks again. And then I felt like they cut something. I felt like she'd gotten to her end of her journey into space. I felt like she was out of air. And I felt like that fall from the space was cut. I think they even shot that.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't go to space. She stopped it before they went to space.
No, there are stars in the sky.
Yeah,
you can have
stars in the sky.
No, they got to the very edge of the Earth, and then they stopped. And I felt like there was a descent that was cut because they had this really great shot of Kara just like kind of like all the tension releasing, and you could really see it in her eyes. And then Alex knew she was going to be okay, and I thought this was the scene of the episode, and I thought it was the scene of the season because it brought us back to the story being about two sisters, and I really, really just loved it. It was amazing.
Okay, so wrapping up because we gotta get going.
My favorite thing in the whole episode, was getting to see Kara carry Lena. She has not carried anybody.
Bridal style.
She doesn't carry anyone. She didn't even carry Alex to fucking Lillian and Jeremiah last week. Alex had to walk or take a car or an Uber. But the whole lifting up of Lena out of the sky. And the thing is, Lena's like a little taller or maybe the same height as Kara. That should have looked awkward. It just didn't. I thought that was fabulous. And I feel like Lena is the new Lois. She's what Lois was to Clark. We talked about this. She's the human who Kara's going to save. And she's saved her now a couple of times. And I really enjoy it because that relationship is so good. And I said at the end of this episode that there was a double scene. You have a little bit of Sandverse, little like blurb of Sandverse and their happiness. And I loved it. Maggie was like, I don't date slackers. I'm glad you got your job back, and it was adorable. And it's kind of chauvinisty, but it was adorable.
Oh, it was too
Lady
too
on
cute.
lady chauvinism is adorable.
Hey, sometimes it happens.
It sometimes happens. And then, but then it became a Carmel scene, and I didn't mind it. I thought Monel was very tolerable in this episode, but I also felt like he didn't earn that last scene. I felt like it really should have been a button on what had transpired.
I think they should have gone and gotten kombucha with.
They should have gotten the kombucha, Lena. And I think Lena was thinking about that. I think she was like, "Hey, I told you it was my mother. I turned her ass in. Should have been the kombucha."
I really thought that at the end of this episode, it was really cool to see the cyber Superman, to see the blowing up of Katniss. I loved the button that they did on the immigration. We don't actually know if Jeremiah's dead or not.
I don't think he's dead.
I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? I love to see Terry Hatcher and Kevin Sorbo. I can't wait to see what they have going on. Yes, I liked Monel because we only saw like 2 minutes of him, which I thought was appropriate. And he played his role right. He was the emotionally, ha ha ha, the levity, which I thought was great. I love Sanders as usual.
Sanders was the meat and potatoes. I enjoyed it.
Honestly, the two things that I loved mainly about this episode: Alex being a badass again and us seeing her again, and women kicking ass. And it was just every female, even Lena with her 2 seconds, was still being a badass. Like, every woman in this bitch was like on fire. And I just want to say thank you, CW, for that. I want to see more of that. I want to see more action. I thought this was the episode that we all needed for so many reasons. Less Monel, more Corp, more Sanders, more Lena, more Danvers, more emotional family drama, but like, and like political savviness. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I thought this was a good episode. I would totally give this episode a B+. I thought it was awesome. There were a lot of things that I would love to talk about, guys, in the comments. So if you have any questions or you have things you want to talk about, hit me up. There's so many things to talk about. We could have probably spent another hour just talking about this episode, because there was just so many minute things that I know I'm looking forward to and that I didn't get to touch on. So, any last thoughts there, Jen?
No, I think we covered it.
We're nailing it, yeah. So, guys, make sure you hit us up again.
Wait, last thought.
What do you got?
The last scene. Terry Hatcher and Kevin Sorbo.
Yes.
Oh my God. If Kevin Sorbo is on the show, then does that mean Lucy Lawless is going to play fucking...
Guys, can we just get Lucy Lawless on this motherfucker?
Can we get her to play Wonder
I don't care.
Wonder Woman is playing the president. There needs to be a Wonder Woman. Lucy Lawless.
There could be so many things. I would poo myself if Lucy Lawless...
Terry Hatcher. Can I say? Oh my God. I'm like giggling. That redeems everything Monel has ever done in his whole storyline. The fact that Terry Hatcher and Kevin Sorbo are coming, and they're going to be villains as fuck.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so good. Nosebleed. Anime nosebleed. I'm so excited for that.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be great. So, thanks for listening, guys. Once again, that is episode 215, Exodus. So much. Please feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe. We will be back next week for 216, you know?
We got till 222.
Oh.
Smoke a cigarette.
Yep.
Drink a beer.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting, guys. I can't wait until they wrap up this
Oh my God.
thing.
I have another one. With Terry Hatcher and Kevin Sorbo, we'll talk about this later.
Okay, so make sure you guys hit us up on Twitter. At the moment, it's going to be at WickedlyMe, WICKEDLEME. Soon we will be switching over to What About That Twitter, so stay tuned for that. So hope you guys had a good night, and please feel free to ask us, what about that? See you later.